Bold, epic, and extravagant, this movie has been a cult classic for a long time, and today I will introduce to you maybe the best movie you've never watched. Let's dive into the deep, untamed ocean for the mysteries of Waterworld. From now on, there will be some spoilers, so be careful, my friends. The story follows a nameless drifter called the Mariner. He has cool vehicles. He ventures around the post-apocalyptic barren world. He has no purpose and just surviving in this now cruel wasteland, plagued with raiders, murderers, and crazy people. He meets up with a group of struggling survivors with a special child, and they will be hostile to him at first. Together, they will have to fend off a group of bloodthirsty raiders led by a JoJo tier goofy villain.
It does look like shit.
And then after a wild adventure, he connects more with them, even having new friends. And after helping them achieve their dream of a better life, he sets off into the broken world out there again, continuing his adventure. Wait, this sounds oddly familiar. Anyway, let's talk about why I think Waterworld is the best movie you've never watched. There are many things I like about this movie, but let's talk about the more technical part first. The world building of it, even though not perfect, has spectacular details. People in this world have lived on the water for so long, they've created unique cultures and set rules to live by. Like how you trade with strangers on the sea to help each other out. New currencies have been created, and dirt become extremely valuable.
Pure dirt.
Imagine all those NFTs but having real values. People build giant atolls out of scraps and live on them. Basically, mini villages on water. They live, trade, plant trees, and when they die, their hair is used to make ropes, and their corpse is recycled to be fertilizers. When strange traders come by, they even ask those guys for their seeds to mix things up a little. There are different factions as well. And of course, like many other post-apocalyptic fictional worlds, we got the obnoxious raiders with the text and attitude of the Warhammer 40k orcs, called the Smokers. Smokers! Because they smoke a lot. Oh, and they also call oil black stuff.
Black stuff.
We got the fanatics that like to put people into slavery, called the Slavers, and also the people who believe in the myth of an oasis island on the horizon. The way people talk, act, and react, the small details on the costumes, the accessories, vehicles, and buildings, it really sells the feeling of another world. Another thing I really like about Waterworld is how the movie looks. It looks dirty. The grains, the messy frames, the sets with tons of small details around. I can feel the salt in the air, the wind, the smell of the ocean just by looking at it. Stunts and extras running around in the background, how the characters look, how everything is made from scavenged scrap. I also love the long wide shots of the movie, with the main character and his trimaran on the ocean. It triggers a sense of wild adventure, free will on the loose, and a never-ending journey. The action sequences in this movie are fantastic. No quick cuts, no meaningless shaky cams, no lens flares. The stunt work is awesome and they really committed to the scenes. Practical effects were a big part, which make the movie look so real. They did build an entire floating mini island to film the scenes in the Atoll City. All the vehicles, the weapons, the costumes, and technology, they all built it. I really enjoy them more than overdone CGI or unfinished. There are not many characters, but that's alright.
That's alright.
Because you only need to focus on 3 of them at most. Our protagonist, the lone drifter Mariner, portrayed by Park Chan from Snyder's DC movies.
You are my son.
A little girl named Enola, not to be mistaken with a deadly disease, and her guardian Helen, a young and brave woman. I like the Mariner a lot. You can imagine him as Mad Max, but on water. I mean, he travels alone. He loves his vehicles. He's some kind of an anti-hero, but will still have the people in need with a kind heart. And his design is just so cool. The crew torn off clothes, the way he moves and fights, and his trimaran. Have I mentioned his trimaran?
Yes.
I think it's one of the coolest vehicle designs in cinema. It has many modified, complex mechanics specially made for the movie. And I didn't even know the word trimaran before watching it. And just like Mad Max 2, before the event of the movie, We can assume that he's a crew survivor. What choices does a lone wanderer have anyway? But his adventure with Enola and Helen has brought out the humanity inside of him. He feels love, hope, and even people he can call friends. There are funny and emotional moments sprinkled around, which makes their interaction much more interesting. There's one thing I like about him even more than Max. Throughout the movie, he does not have a name. People just call him the Mariner.
I've got a proposition for you, Mariner.
Some call him a freak because he's a mutant with fish gills.
Gills.
Yes, mutants exist in this world. And the lore behind it is explored more in the comics. At the end of the journey, he was given a name by Helen. It feels like he has regained or rediscovered his humanity after so long on the ocean by himself. It's a nice payoff, well-made ending for his journey with her and Enola. Oh, I forgot to mention, this detail is not in the theatrical release of the movie. It's in the Ulysses cut, a fan-made edition of the movie with many scenes cut from the standard version. I recommend watching this one. It's a bit longer, but much more coherent and clear in terms of storytelling. But why is a classic action-adventure movie like Waterworld almost forgotten now? Is it because it's horrible? Or is it because there are some controversies behind the scenes? Or are there other reasons? There are a few reasons why this film is poorly received and remembered. The production, the promotion, and the film itself. At first, Universal was ready to spend $100 million on this film, and that was where the disaster began. Do you remember those practical sets built on the ocean, the atolls? One of them got hit by a storm, and they had to rebuild it with a small amount of $20 million. Filming on the ocean also means every day, everyone from the crew, the actors, the extras had to sail to the sea. Everyone got tired and seasick even before filming started. The actors and stunt doubles also often found themselves in many dangerous, life-threatening situations due to the weather and accidents on sets. The local contractor in Hawaii, where the film was shot, also pumped up all the prices, further increasing the cost of the movie. Until mid-1994, the cost of the movie is already at $135 million. When they head back to LA to film the rest of it, the cost was $175 million, a record at that time. But that's not all of it. The script of the movie was a product of constant rewrites, a conflict between the director, Kevin Reynolds, and the star of the movie, Kevin Costner. What's up with the Kevins? At the last minute, they got Joss Whedon in to fix it with a 1-week work deal, which extended to 7 weeks. Joss described this as 7 weeks of hell. The original 96-day shoot plan turned into a 166 days of bizarre and exhausting events. As if the production is not bad enough, the promotion of the movie is also horrendous. They basically shot themselves in the foot when all the general audience knows about the movie was its production cost. Journalists and the media had covered the problematic productions for months. Universal also wants to release the film with a length no more than 2 hours and 15 minutes, while the material Reynolds had was almost 3 hours long. He suggested reshooting, but Universal declined. They did not want to miss the summer release date, and the film hit the theater. The date was July 28, 1995, and it was, what can I say, not going well. After hearing so much bad raps about the movie, the audience came into the theater both expecting so much and still had a bias against the movie. The hype was never satisfied. The result? Waterworld finished the opening weekend with $22 million. It ends the domestic run with $88 million, but somehow made it to $264 million worldwide, and even more in video sales. But in the eyes of many, it's still an expensive total failure. The movie itself is okay. Not a flawless masterpiece, but clearly not a dumpster fire either. But it seems underwhelming and cannot be as memorable when compared to other movies in the action genre at that time, like The Matrix, Terminator 2, Starship Troopers, or Speed. The creative conflict between the main actor, the director, and the studio is easily seen. There's some plot holes here and there. The motivation of some characters is unclear, and the theatrical cut really hurts character development. In the end, even with a moderate box office, an easy-to-follow story with good action scenes. Many people just simply forgot about Waterworld. I'm a sucker for practical effects, good action scenes, a coherent solid story, and the post-apocalyptic world setting. And the movie has all of that. Yes, it may not be the best movie ever, but I love it. And I think it deserves the chance to be seen more. It's not the movie that can tell you what to think or leaves things for you to think about, but it feels like a relic of a long-lost era. And sometimes, I still have silly thoughts after watching it. I ask myself, what would I do in that situation? Alone, surrounded by water to no end, with no purpose? How long can I keep myself from sinking into insanity? Would I ever have a small chance to find my own dry land? Thank you for watching the video. Check out my other videos about anime as well. See you in the next video.